Good morning, guys. Good morning. We're going to get the stream up and running in a second. We have ATV joining this morning. We're not going to be trading any live futures today because I'm pretty unsure of the market. We can definitely take a look at them, but we're going to be looking at some crypto pairs and gold, silver, and maybe even a couple stock plays today. So anticipating a lighter stream. Normally when we do these at this time, it is lighter crowd, so we'll let a couple of people join. We'll let ATV hop on. I see he's currently muted, so maybe we'll even face cam it today. Maybe we'll even face cam it. Bang. Okay. Well, Hire Trader already doxed me, so kind of is what it is. Figured we'd maybe roll with the face cam today. It's kind of beautiful. Okay, new day, new opportunities. We're going to see, we were looking at some things overnight, but nothing too crazy. Just going to give it another little second for ATV to hop in, and then we are going to cook.
Yeah, can you hear me?
A GM. Let me just turn down the music a little bit. ATV, give us a mic check. Give us a mic check.
Yeah, GM, mic check.
Nice. People in the chat, let me know how you're hearing ATV. We're going to figure out the audio, make sure it's sounding good, make sure everyone is clear. Obviously, my audio should be crystal clear out of this mic, but we are going to sort out ATVs. So, how are you doing, brother? How has your morning been?
Dude, not too bad. Just kind of getting to the charts for the first time this morning.
Yeah, me too. You've been coming back into the crypto space. You were very focused on futures there. You were expanding your edge. You were seeing how volume is interacting in the market in crazy ways. And I watched your last video on gold, and I was pretty blown away just how amazing you've been able to use these confluences and take these trades. You literally traded, for lack of a better term, an SW2, as I like to call it, two-tap model, using strictly volume confluences. How do you feel coming back into the crypto space with this new knowledge?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to come back and implement some of it. I think I'll just be looking for plays in different areas than I normally would be. I think just there's so many ways to build context, especially in crypto, some ways that I wasn't really taught originally, but I think I just want to take trades in areas in the chart that I think are going to get a reaction. Like, even if there wasn't a Wyckoff model there, I would still want to be playing this area of the chart. But then we are going to get a Wyckoff model there, and I think that those are extremely high probability.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because as Wyckoff traders, we want to take our Wyckoff models within good context POIs. I know normally when I'm journaling my losses and I'm like looking at my model, and it's like it can be decently aesthetic, it can be valid, but when I look at the context, I'm like, this is not a place on the chart. So that's very interesting what you say. And I think it's a really big part of the edge. So we have some people in the chat. Denise Vanderberg. Hey, welcome, brother. I've never seen you in the chat. So welcome. These are your ground floor streams. This is actually the first time I've ever put my face cam on here. So yeah, kind of roll with it. Chubbs, legendary guy in the chat right now, GM Chubbs, if it is morning for you. So Danae's Wyckoff trade review. Yes. We can absolutely get into that. I'm going to do Bitcoin first, and then we'll get into Hype, because Hype is one of my main pairs, and we can have a little bit of FOMO on the stream about the Wyckoff that happened. I can't remember exactly why I missed it. Timing and or uncertainty of the market, I think a little bit. This price action has not been my favorite to trade, and I will be upfront with that. You know, we were absolutely crushing it in Q4 when we had just this amazing context on Bitcoin, and it was such a treat to trade. And now the market has kind of given us something interesting, because I almost felt exhausted being a bear in those areas where we were looking for Wyckoff model distributions to short back down. But now we're in an interesting spot. We've filled the CME gap. I know this local stuff is a little bit messy, but once we get into it, so I have a little idea here. Do you know, the amount of times that I have drawn a potential distribution though, and it has failed, is enormous. So I'm absolutely not married to this idea, nor am I in any crypto positions right now besides Multiverse X. Yeah, let's take a look at Bitcoin. So we're trending up. We still have this 4-hour market structure low unbroken. Daily market structure low. Has that changed? No. Daily is still where it is. We have that SMT. I'm going to clean some of this stuff up. What did I just delete there? No, keep the CME gap. Just know that we filled that CME gap. I just want to move the lasso. So we could potentially be having a 1, 2, 3 Model 2, but it's not my favorite. ATV, what's your take on this local Bitcoin price action? I think we can potentially still go higher. We have really good POIs above. What are you thinking? We might have lost ATV. Okay, we've lost ATV. But
sorry, bro. I think I was on mute there.
You were. You have a habit of that. Yeah, give us your take.
I liked the aggressiveness of the sell-off in New York yesterday. I think it's the USDT chart that I'm really liking.
That is my boy.
Doesn't have to revert here if it doesn't want to, but I am gonna look at some retests and see how it looks for sure.
Yeah, so we have very interesting price action where it's like a little bit harder to say, because we've seen Bitcoin put into some interesting tops before leaving buy side liquidity like this. We still have that SMT with ETH intact. The way we're pulling back right here is pretty nice, but he's tricked me in the past pulling back with nice RTZ for the way down and then just sent. So I think anything is possible with Bitcoin right now. I'm going to see what POIs I do like, because I am seeing this 2-hour structure supply right here as well that I didn't have on the chart. So this zone is the barricade, if you will, no pun intended. But this is the zone for me that has to hold. Anything above this is invalidation. We have that first hour of New York about to complete. So we've just been moving up since that point. Did we ever move down? Yeah, we kind of started to move down and then we moved up. So pretty typical New York price action. But this level will have to hold. I will see if we get any reactions and whatnot in that level. But then it's still, you're stacking another high. And I like when you're stacking other highs. I can give an example actually on S&P 500. Let's go to the CFD chart. So I don't mind when you are stacking highs, but they're part of a Wyckoff model. My bad, guys. This chart is inverted. So I still have the boxes around. This is older CJ Wyckoff labeling, but when you're stacking highs, but they're part of a Wyckoff model. It's a little bit different, and I don't like it as much on Model 2s because you have that extra point. Like you can put in a UTAD, then you can put in a test, then you can put in an LPSY that leaves really good supply, then you can pull back into that LPSY, and then you can nuke. So with this, we're not really having that. So and it's a little bit trickier with Model 2s because you can't say that this is a UTAD test and then LPSY. What this is a LPSY. So if we were to label our Wyckoff model right now, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen, we always labeled these as potentials because, you know, every point is a potential in the market until we can confirm it. So I don't believe that this is confirmed. You had a secondary test that was very deep, you know, it was very deep compared to this point, and it was like a slower deviation of it. So again, not my preferred. On S&P, you can see how tight the deviations are. But yes, you have a couple in here. You had a local model here that completed, that was your whole upthrust in phase B. And then you put in a UTAD in phase C and test. And then all of this is your phase D trend. So when we were looking at this, it's slightly different. Do you want to use this as an upthrust, you know, and say that this is a point right here? Potentially, right? Potentially, but it's not a preferred point for me. It doesn't break structure, it doesn't look good, doesn't come back in the range. It's just kind of all one deviation. And so it leads me to think that we could potentially get a bigger range, but we never really got great accumulative price action in this area. Not saying that we have to get a textbook model though, because as we know, the market is not always giving us these textbook plays, and we have to be adapting. We have to be adapting for sure. Just looking at the stream. Can you guys see my face cam or no? Let me know in the chat. Oh, I'm just seeing the chat now. Good morning, Aladdin. Red Bull, no good, sir. You know, bro, show me actually. It's a little bit worse in America, I'm not gonna lie. But I like to have a Red Bull every now and then. Okay, so you saw the Red Bull, so the face cam is working. Okay. Because I just looked at another view of the stream and I didn't see it, but maybe that's lagging behind. That could have definitely been lagging behind. So perfect. That answered my question. The Red Bull kind of saved me. But honestly, I think that's a psyop. I think Red Bulls potentially do give you wings. So yeah, every once in a while I will have a Red Bull. Honestly, strictly for enjoyment. To be honest, I like the taste. And there's something about it, you know, there's something about it. So we're going to take a look at a couple different plays here, but let's get back to Bitcoin. I wanted to make sure that the face cam is working because it is the first time. Oh, I'm excited to answer some questions here. We are going to do hype. Tim Hughes doppelganger. Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. I've never met Tim in person, but I have been getting comments about that. Maybe we'll have to link up. Maybe we'll go on a ski trip. In the Swiss Alps or something. Maybe we'll invite Gian, our Swiss friend. I think one more push up for BTC could be there. GM Shahan Hater. GM brother, unless it is afternoon for you. Raphael, GM, gonna get you drinking mate. Yeah, I have only had yerba mate, but I know Wyckoff Sniper is a mate enjoyer. Guy likes to move like Messi. So GM Dao Z, I think it is later for you. So good afternoon, brother. But getting back into Bitcoin, like it's not my favorite price action. We're talking about different Wyckoff points. So PSY. Is this a buying climax? Decently volume supported, but you have some pretty crazy volume spikes in the middle of the range. Heavy buyers potentially in this area. You know what? I'm actually going to bust out a new a new indicator, and we're gonna see how it's looking. No, not that one. So this is something new for me. Check on our Weiss waves. So I've been learning more about the Wyckoff methodology. It's actually brought me into some interesting places. Been on some vortexes, studying in the last little bit. It's been good though. It's been good. Kind of lose track of time and see the market a little bit differently, because sometimes I think we're coming into the markets and we have this very cookie cutter view that we want to see. And yes, that's really good for trading, but you know, especially when I was like analyzing NQ, and yes, I was really realizing, oh, it's so dynamic. You know, if you want to just trade Bitcoin too, you got to be so dynamic. There's all these different structures, you know, there's sloping structures as well. So looking at the Weiss waves is something interesting too. You can kind of just see what is going on the most. So actually, when I look at the Weiss waves, there is pretty heavy sellers in this area, decent sellers throughout this area as well. I haven't exactly mastered this indicator. It is super fresh to me. I did want to debut it though, because one of the guys that I'm learning the Wyckoff methodology, he is using the tick volume, and he's also using these Weiss waves to kind of see the volume in a little bit different way. So I'm excited to learn more about it. And just kind of see. So like this whole area we had, yeah, that's interesting. And then we're buying coming up here. So I think there is a point where it can actually flip. So it doesn't matter the candles. Like we can be getting into this area, moving up a little bit, and then we'll start seeing red waves. I think that is like that is interesting, because we were having red waves all through here, and then that is what did get us the sell-off later. So maybe it's like, okay, let me just study the indicator a little bit here. So right here we started getting the big red wave, and then the red wave ended here, one more push up, and then we got the sell-off. Okay. Yeah, we'll just kind of study it a little bit, see how we can use it, see if it's relevant, see if it's noise. But I'm gonna get it off for now. I just wanted to check. This area. But yeah, so again, not meaning to weave too hard here, but this could be our potential LPSY. It does break structure, so you got a SFP right here on this time frame, and then you do get the break right there. So if we did pull back into this supply and went down, it would look good. And I already view this as my LPSY 2 POI, I believe. So you can view it as the LPSY 1 POI as well, though. The way that I've been using it and kind of understanding it is you have to be a little, dynamic with it. So if I see, let's just say that this is an STB, and then, you get an LPSY right here, and then it kind of just like grinds like this, but then it shoots up and creates like structure demand. I'm not going to label like, okay, so let me make this really clear. STB, ST and phase B. That's all that means. I put the B sometimes because there's different STs. So then you get this LPS. And so I'm not going to label each of these points like LPS, LPS, LPS. It's like this whole piece of price action ended up delivering our extreme demand in this case. Ended up delivering our extreme demand. So this can all be, the LPS, and it leaves this last point of support, the extreme demand, and then if we come up here and then, we put in another point that never comes back and leaves demand here, that can be the LPS2 up here. So that's a little bit how I'm viewing it at the current moment right now. Not every individual point. So, but in this case, we actually did leave supply that we pulled back into, and then so this then creates this, and so I would label that LPS Y2 because we're in a distribution. Yeah, that's kind of what I have for Bitcoin. ATV, what do you think of any volume confluences that you have? I have this local range as POC backing. Let me just make sure I re-pull this actually in case it changed, but I doubt it. Yeah, perfect. So we have this POC backing the supply POI. Any other confluences that you were looking at?
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at that low volume pocket there. So like, if we can get some sort of LTF distro
Mm-hmm. You're talking about
in
this
that
one?
section, yeah, that'd be more of a low time frame play though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting. Some of the altcoins look like they could almost go up. A lot of them came back and retested their value area highs that they kind of broke out of, and now are getting a little bit of a bounce. So it's definitely an interesting environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're gonna take a look at some altcoins on this stream. Let's maybe start off our altcoin voyage with Hyperliquid because I saw someone talking about it. Whoa,
Just have to shout out
interesting.
Raphael quick.
Okay.
That model you're talking about on NQ is unreal, bro. I did not see that, but I'm loving you for taking that sick trade.
Yo, I'm in on an M1 accumulation on NQ. Aim for your Asia high. Yo, do we need to check out futures? So,
It's over, but just look at the play. It's so
yeah,
sick.
I just want to look at it. Okay, quick will do that, guys. I'm off futures right now, so the way I view futures is you can hop in and hop out when you want, and I'm currently. Oh damn! Wow.
Raphael, you should send CJ a DM if you're actively trading this market. I would love to chat with you further. That's a sweet play.
Yeah, yeah.
It's such volume confluence on that play too.
Should we break it down? This is too good not to break it down. Wow. Leave the futures market for 1 week, and yeah, NQ loves to deliver Wyckoff models. Like it's actually astonishing. It's actually astonishing.
When I woke up, I was watching ES, but ES was not looking like that.
Look at this timing though, dude. This is one where you have to like be
That's the
ballsy.
one when we first started trading.
Oh
It's
man.
like the Wyckoff's just waiting for New York Open liquidity injection. You just instantly get in.
These are the plays, guys. And part of the reason, even the guys who are in my private community, they've seen me come in a little bit later to the private lives because I've trying to been like staying off of New York. There's something about me. I love taking trades like right on 9:30, and it's a bit of a bad habit sometimes because I know the liquidity injection is coming, and like you can just print even off like a demand POI sometimes. But I just need to stay away from it.
Chubbs is right. Aggressive entry, but what we've noticed, like if there's a model that looks like this, right when the bell rings, like just get in. But only do that if it's like actually a really nice Wyckoff model.
Yeah,
it has to be like really good looking. But every time I've seen it, New York just opens and nukes.
Oh man,
Or rips.
yeah, and guys, I've even seen it where it doesn't even matter if London created the models to say that was a buying climax, and then whatever you had to return to zone, deviated the high again, put in a test, and then you were like here. I wish that wasn't. I'll draw that a little higher, and then New York is opening right here. So let's make the model a little bit more clear. So this is London's price action, and you have a confirmed Wyckoff, like you've broke structure, you have a test, and then you have either a extreme liquidity or like an extreme supply POI, and New York opens, and this is like your London high technically, like London high. Maybe this is an Asia low. And you think, oh, like New York is going up, like we're gonna sweep that London high of this distribution model right here. It's almost, I've never seen it be the case. New York will go so aggressively into this POI and then sell off so aggressively, completing the model. And it's actually beautiful. You have to, oh man, you have to trust the model. I've normally just watched these because, you know, there's a little bit a thing in futures where it's like, oh, sweep the London high, then go for the London low, you know. But like I've seen them, they're protecting these London highs when it's a part of a Wyckoff model, you know.
So many times it'll come perfectly into like upper band VWAP, like for what's on his chart too.
Yeah, we've seen that as well. So say your upper band is going like this, and your middle band is maybe here.
Let's see what Raphael's saying. He's giving some comps right after filling the entire demand. Nah, dude, yeah, that's a sick trade. I'm loving that trade out of you.
Yeah, if your VWAP's looking like this too, and any VWAP band is backing this this extreme supply within your Wyckoff model, ooh, you can cook on that. You can absolutely cook on that. You can have 10 accounts, and you could literally make 8K in the first 5 minutes of New York and be done for the day. That's something. So look at this. Look at that VWAP bounce.
On that chart too, when you can.
Of the range or from the day?
Pull a volume profile from 7:30 from New York Open your time yesterday. to where the third tap was.
Oh gosh, New York Open yesterday. You never fail to surprise me with these pulls.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's just you'll just see what I'm talking about. It'll be way farther. Yeah.
What are you seeing? I'm actually not seeing what you're seeing, unless you're seeing this.
Just pull a volume profile from New York Open yesterday to third tap of that model to the entry.
Oh, maybe I pulled it too far. Oh, yeah, it's a totally different story. Totally different story. Just little deviation. Did you just have that on from yesterday, or how were you having that?
Yeah. Are you on MNQ?
I am.
Yeah, you are.
What has Naz been up to?
Yeah, I just kind of had it on from yesterday, like
just all of the price
action.
action.
Pull like a massive volume profile, like just of that entire piece of price action. You can just really see. It was a nice spot to take along, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and even if you just had your like this price actions volume profile, it's the exact same POI with the value area high. No, it's
I hit
really nice.
A sick trade and kind of like pre-London last night too, but just that previous day POC, like these plays are magnets in the futures market. They just get amazing reactions.
Guys, look at the VWAP reversion. It's so automatic. Like, I sometimes don't believe how automatic these VWAPs can be. Obviously, they have to be used in the right context. But this, oh my God, this is going in the gallery ATV. Oh my, this is an absolute thing of beauty. And I wasn't trading NQ and stuff because it was such a trending market. And when you try to trade decently exclusively Wyckoffs in trending market, that is when you get wrecked. Unless it's aligning. So this aligns with the trend. It's perfection. It's actually perfection. I actually can't, I still can't believe how many Wyckoff models there is in futures. You know, I think in 5 years, NASDAQ and ES will just trade on the blockchain, and they'll have crystal clear candles. Maybe we will still trade the CME charts for volume, but we will like trade them on like potentially crypto brokers. I'm not sure. It's something I'm thinking about, but maybe we're only doing that for swings, because I do love the day trading aspect, and I do love that that part of it.
Look at our private chat quick. You don't have to pull it up on the screen, but just on your other screen.
Yep.
That's what I was seeing on my profile. I think maybe we were pulling it from a different spot, but do you see like right on the POC there?
Yeah, that's what I was having.
Okay, maybe I'm trying to watch your stream. Maybe it's a little laggy.
Oh, dude,
behind for me.
It could be. It really could be.
Okay, just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, no, it's definitely behind, I think. Like, especially when I'm like going to. Yeah, it's very behind, I believe. Maybe not, though. Maybe not.
Dude, what do you
Um,
think of Stewie here whenever you get a sec?
yeah, so we said we've been weaving a lot, but I like that we check this out. Shout out Raphael for pointing this out. We're gonna do hype, but we can also do Sui
Yeah,
if
go
it's
ahead, do
interesting.
hype.
We'll do
Sui,
hype.
we can't do anything about Sui.
Okay. Because I saw a lad asking about Sui. And for the volume profiles, sorry, for the VWAPs, I think in crypto, it's more about the weekly and the monthly for me. Um, it's more about the weekly and monthly. So we had this local model, wrong range pulsar. No, we don't do that around here. But it was some sort of model, right? Deviate that low with a SFP. You have a selling climax. You get that model and you nuke down, but you're getting a very, very aggressive buyback. And I don't know if hype wants to get me in this play or what. Because we have to be aware that this can turn into an accumulation now. So what I mean by that is all the supply is decently mitigated. Maybe there's something in here, but you're seeing such an aggressive buyback that I'm actually like looking to pull a range like this just in case, where this distribution creates a range high, and then maybe we can pull back into. So I'll get this out of the way. I actually shouldn't have that on there. So if we don't look at it from this point of view, and then we potentially look at it from an accumulation point of view, we'll have to see a lot more, and I'll have to assess the general altcoin market before this. But I have a couple cheeky guys that I want to check out because I don't know if you guys have seen. I released like 16 accumulations that went down in the crypto space while I was away. I wasn't generally away, but I was really only checking Bitcoin and ETH because we were very into futures at that point. Let me just pull a third tap POI for hype if there is one. Potentially an 18-hour, but that will need some time. I'm seeing there's going to be structure demand. So here, send an alert for that. I don't know what's going to happen here because we're in such an interesting situation. But when we're assessing this market structure leg now, that's breaking back to bit bullish on some pretty. What is the highest time frame? The 2 hour. It's a dicey one. Potentially the 1 hour only, guys. Potentially the 1 hour only. Either right here or right here, whatever. But the 1 hour is a significant time frame. So yeah, interesting. Need to see a lot more. Let's move on. Sui. Oh, let's clean up the chart. I did try an exploratory here on Sui. It was nice looking, but like we talked about, the context could have been a little bit better. Only on a live account though. My Hyro Trader account is in the shop, needs an oil change. I forgot to update the API. I know Dowsy's maybe heard this line a couple times, but Bybit, a little bit like a Ferrari, you need to change the oil every 3 months. So you have to update the API every 3 months. Don't forget to do it. Otherwise, it's a huge pain in the ass. Shout out Nina, get me sorted. Suri is interesting though. We've been coming down, leaving a lot of buy side liquidity. Yes. I'm tempted to pull a range from here. Bit of a deeper deviation. I still don't mind it though. Let's check some higher time frames. Probably getting a close within DL. Yeah, it's still fine. So yeah, it's not my favorite though. You had some sort of reaccumulation right here. It's not the cleanest, does deviate that high, but reaccumulation nonetheless. probably that point will get taken out, even just due to a market structure break, probably on the 5-minute here. Take out that high. Did it already take it out? Oh, maybe it already took it out. What are you thinking on ATV? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I want to see if you can do something crazy for me, and I just want to show you some very interesting data. So if you can pull a VP from, if you can zoom out, like I'm saying, like swing low basically, like before Sui took off on this aggressive move.
This guy right here.
Even lower, like need way more candles on the chart. And I just want to show you something a little interesting.
Swing low, like this liquidation wick potentially.
So where you have that LPS2, if you can just pull a volume profile from there.
LPS2. Oh, right here. Oh, more to the right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So swing low of the most recent expansion leg. Okay. What are you seeing here? You're seeing LVNs. Potentially.
LVNs. I think the stream, it's hard for me because it's lagging a little. Or it's just behind on mine. Yeah, okay, nice.
LVN pocket
yeah,
right there.
Just study where it bounced. That's like, this is my new meta in the crypto market. Is I'm loving looking at these swing profiles and these very LVN pockets.
So for the people who are not aware, LVN stands for low volume node. So you got HVNs and you got LVNs, value area high, and POC, point of control. When we're talking about the volume profile, the fixed range volume profile, this tool right here.
So it's just something I'll be experimenting with. Like even if you pull another volume profile from the liquidation wick, the historic liquidation, and you just put your mouse over top and see exactly where Sui is bouncing there. I'm not saying it's going to continue up, but it's just very cool to see it get a bounce. Like you can be very precise when you have these kind of random LVN pockets. So that's my new meta, is if the Wyckoff model is taking place and it's hitting one of those for either second or third tap, I'm really liking that.
Do you know the meta to get your volume profile all the way on the side instead of like right in the price action? Or do I just have to be a left guy?
Yeah, maybe have to be a left. Oh.
Look at that though. That is pretty interesting. So this is basically one of the lowest volume nodes within the whole thing.
Yeah. Can you bump that up maybe like 333 just so you can see it?
Oh, you want to get it? You want to get me on the 333 wave, hey?
Numbers.
Okay, you want to get my numbers up, hey? Okay. Yeah, it does look interesting for sure. Yeah, you can really see that. Sorry, let's get.
I know it's not as aesthetic, but
it's not quite
just when you're really dissecting.
That is exactly where we bounce, though. It's a small bounce, but we'll see what can happen. Curious, guys. Chat's been dead here for a little bit. Give me your thoughts on this Sui range. So I was talking privately with some traders about this Sui range for a while, and we were hypothesizing that we could be getting an internal distribution where like either this is a distribution or most likely this 1, 2, 3 internally is a distribution that is going to go over into an accumulation because we had this breaker structure and then we had this aggressive expansion back inside. We end up getting a 2-tap model. I actually do like the aesthetic of these 2-tap models that then blasted us up. Sol was very similar, didn't get that aggressive expansion that Sui got. But curious your guys' thoughts on a model like this. It's a structure that is absolutely there, but I'm not saying it's easy to operate. I'm not saying it's easy to trade. It just kind of, it's interesting to look at because, this is at the end of the day is what the market makers cooked for this area on the chart. Yeah, that's interesting that it's bouncing there. Damn.
Yeah, even in my short time back in crypto, I've been noticing that a lot.
Yeah, we can
So I don't think
this.
like I'm never just gonna be taking trades solely because of that. But I'm just saying if we can get a Wyckoff model aligning with that stuff, I think that there is a crazy powerful edge there.
Yeah, we'll have to watch what happens here.
And it's just, yeah, it's just inefficiencies in the market, right? It's the same as hidden order blocks or order blocks. It's just using volume to kind of back those up. So I think even if you can get Hobbs and demand and supply aligning with those POIs, which often they will, just that's kind of what I was saying at the beginning of the stream. I just want to take trades in powerful POIs where I expect reactions. And if you can get a model coming into it, I think they have a very high win rate.
Dude, 100%. And that right there is just a huge key for the edge. It's just this context building. And we build context, yes, with market structure and with supply and demand, but volume can add this new layer of context building that I think is so powerful. And I'm excited to continue down the wave. I'm reading this book right now that's all about Wyckoff and volume. Excited for some new unlocks in that. But let's check out some more altcoins, guys. Let me know in the chat. Give me some energy in the chat if we can. And let's chart some altcoins. Maybe we can see a couple reversals or a little bit more expansions to the upside on a couple of coins. I'm going to quickly check this pair. This is the only active trade I'm in right now. He's having a decent day. I just don't want to see a distribution here. USD CHF. Let me know if you guys are in this. Pretty beautiful model. I tried this last week and ended up failing. And just went over and put in another spring. I was thinking this might be a spring, but we actually front ran liquidity point and demand. So I was willing to try it again. It looked really nice. Hopefully we get that to complete. But I want to look at Atom. So I have like two charts.
Bathroom, I'll be right back, buddy.
Okay. Just going to look at Atom quickly. I have two charts for Atom. I have this distribution idea. I'm not in this position. It's just chilling there. I have this distribution idea on Atom, but my original goal was actually the accumulation. So if we get rid of this, if we get rid of this guy, and then, yes. So I also have an accumulation idea. We'll see which one wins. We'll see which one wins. But I'm no longer in this. Not sure about Bitcoin. I'll have to reassess. I think we can come down and potentially use this demand and or this hidden liquidity right here. It might be a partial though, but we have that POC backing us up. We did reject from some sort of supply here, but if we do start blasting up on Atom, this is the model I believe to be taking place. You did have new supply creation here though. So it's a tricky situation. It's either this distribution, which is an accumulation that goes into a distribution because Bitcoin wants to go lower, or Bitcoin needs another expansion and we're going to get the move up. I don't know. We'll kind of have to see. It's a little bit tricky. I want to talk about another couple distributions that I'm watching. So I'm watching Solana here. So we mitigated our demand and we have a couple supply POIs. I also think we could have a Model 1. I think we could definitely have a Model 1. But watching this on Solana, let's set an alert for this first layer of supply. Just going to kind of be watching. I know we have this upper layer as well. See how our volume profile's been developing. Okay, so we get that bounce from the value area high, and it's just kind of waiting and seeing. I think about Bitcoin, waiting and seeing. So it's the exact same volume profile if you pull it from here. So I'll probably just keep starting it. Actually, I'll put it back here so it's a little bit out of the way. So same volume profile there. This was a nice short. It was a nice short. I did like it.
Bro, I was gonna get you to look at this chart. Nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Sol. So this is, I think, one of the higher probability short setups should Bitcoin want to pivot. Didn't have that aggressive expansion. It did have this accumulation right here. Whether you want to say it's a Model 2 or you want to say it's a Model 1 and include this. In my X post, I did include this as a secondary test. But now it is setting up.
So do you see where we're bouncing there?
Value area high?
Yeah, value area high, back demand. I don't know if you saw my chart in our private Discord yesterday, but that was kind of my pre-plan. I was patiently waiting to see if it would give a model coming into that, because that's just like a perfect example of where I would want to take a scalp long, to be clear. Like, I'm not a bull in this market right now that much, but those are just like the type of POIs I want to trade in.
For sure. And it's funny, I did cover that value area high bounce right before you got back. But yeah,
look at the reaction we get, right?
We get a reaction. We don't have a crystal clear Wyckoff, no. But we do see that reaction. A little bit of a reaccumulation right here, actually. Let me check it out. We do have a nice reaction. Perfect value area high. Reaccumulate, push higher. That's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting.
It is not an accident.
No. There is another level of the edge to be unlocked. EGLD got a little accumulation.
And like, as a candlestick trader, like, it is demand too. So like, a candlestick trader only could just say, okay, it's demand, and that's fair. But a lot of the times the volume confluence will align with demand, but sometimes it won't. And I think that's maybe sometimes when the demand and supply doesn't get as good of a reaction. But if you can overlap them, I just think it is unreal.
100%. 100%. The next coin I want to check out is a coin that I've been talking about publicly, but it's actually ADA. So what I'm seeing here is, and now let's test your guys' open-mindedness. And I'm not saying this is going to work for sure, but this distribution right here is a Wyckoff. So it's one of those interesting distributions where you like have the distribution, it comes down and like super aggressive, but distribution nonetheless. We definitely like see some interesting ones, especially in TradFi. So then we can be starting our selling climax from that distribution low. And if other altcoins weren't doing the same, I would be less inclined to do it. But like, the structure is so clear for the most part. ATV, was this the demand play? I'm wondering. We still have our POC back demand here, but I'm watching this. It's just going to be really tricky to be able to get into the trade because we have left the initial phase right here. The initial accumulation phase. There is trades to be taken along the way. But it's definitely going to be trickier. I would prefer us to maybe reject from here and then come down into the easy POI. And then I would just take a market structure break with my invalidation underneath this POC back demand as my invalidation of the model. And then I would run it up for this high. And then we can also look for then ADA to transition into a distribution. I'm sure there's some supply POIs up here that we could pull. Similar, it grinds up, completes that model, and then distributes and goes back down. Super nice volume confluence here. Volume is so high that we don't even like market makers just protecting this point here and putting in the internal accumulation. So not always being so rigid with the labeling and stuff, kind of understanding the market dynamics a little bit more. Lots of these wicks got protected because there's just a lot of buyers in that area. Market makers want to protect that, and they're putting in these internal accumulations. I think CRV potentially the only coin to take that low, if I'm remembering correctly. There's definitely a couple other coins that have just like regular accumulations, but it's really tough to say. So I am looking for an entry here on ADA. It's just going to be a little bit harder. ATV, what do you think? Maybe if we like flip this value area high and create I need to see like a new demand POI that I like. And then maybe we can go for a RIMC up. But not going to force anything here. If nothing else, it's just a learning model for me to see this type of structure and to see it play. Not too worried about it. It's just really interesting. It's just a really interesting model. Let's see what else we have. How's my boy ICP? So ICP was one of the cleanest accumulations, and it was one of the accumulations getting some of the nastiest follow through. Nothing really to be done. It's coming to our if we want to be a Wyckoff terminology, guys, our creek POIs. Let's maybe use the swing low and see what we can get here. Okay, get the value area high. This is a case I also would like to use the VWAP, maybe even monthly first, just to see where it is. So you have that monthly VWAP low also coming to this POI. It's just a lot of liquidity though. This is probably one I'll just have to study. What do you think about using the monthly VWAP in crypto? Like maybe like the session, like obviously when we're trading futures, it's super session based, it's fast paced. We're using that session VWAP, but then crypto is a little bit, on the higher time frame. And so then we're just using like in a very similar fashion, the monthly and the weekly VWAP. What do you think?
For sure. I think it just helps you read context. Like at the end of the day, the VWAP's just showing like who's in control, if the price is balanced or not. I definitely paid more attention on like the low time frames to it in futures, obviously, but I really like anchoring VWAPs in the crypto market for sure.
Interesting. And where are you looking at these anchored VWAPs? By the way, guys, here's Link. I was posting about Link quite early, actually, when people were trying to short this crazy price action in here. But yeah, ATV, maybe talk about those anchors. Like, say if you're on Link here, where would you want to anchor your VWAP from swing low? Do you like a swing high? What do you like? What was
the chart you were just looking at before Link?
It was ICP. You want to go back to that one?
Yeah, just go back to that one. It's just a good example.
Okay. Here we got ICP, guys. Where would you anchor it? Swing low? Here? Or the high? I've seen both.
Sorry, the stream's behind a little bit for me. I was gonna say, like, if I was to get in a long, like, let's just ignore the chart, but I would anchor it from the high, and then if I was in a long, like, I would want to see us reclaim it. Just like little stuff like that. Like, I think just pivotal moments in the chart is where I would like to anchor it from.
Gonna look at both here. So we're actually coming into the anchored view up from like the swing high. Let me know if you can see that on your chart. But then the low is backing this POI right here. So it's interesting. I might even just leave these on my ICP chart and just kind of see how it gets a reaction. Because at the end of the day, we're studying these. I want to, I want to have a lot of reps in the market. This is my current altcoin stack. I think XLM needs to be a little bit higher. I'm gonna refine them, but these are, I think Ethereum Classic might be a little bit too high. And I think XLM can probably be right under ADA. So curious what your guys' altcoin stacks are, like what you guys are liking on a daily basis, what has printed you even. Which are your boys? I don't even want to look at Pepe. Because it's just so outrageous of a chart right now. Potentially it can flush down at some point, but we're looking at the idea of an accumulation eventually. There's obviously the internal distribution right here. It's not too clear. It's not too clear. I know there's some people shorting Pepe. And it was pretty valid given that like Bitcoin can turn around at any time really, and it would be like obvious in hindsight. And if you had a short running, that would be good.
Something I wanted you to check out whenever you have a second is the B-vol chart.
You want to check B-vol? That's interesting.
It just kind of goes hand in hand with what you're just saying about potentially trying to forecast when Bitcoin is going to turn around, but it is getting extremely close to that Gaia POI that gets a bounce every single time it hits it.
Oh, that's so interesting. So I think I have it in Confluence. If I don't, no, wow, I'm not even a B-vol guy. What B-vol chart are you looking at?
7 day.
Which one? I'm only getting BitMEX. Is that can't be true? Is that true?
Yeah, that's the one I look at.
Damn, BitMEX is the B-vol king. Interesting. Okay. Yo, we are getting close. This chart is just so weird. Hands down, weirdest chart that we do look at in our days. It is getting close. It is getting close. Maybe I'll set an alert for it, just so we know when it hits.
Like it's gonna get a reaction there.
And yeah, Bitcoin. Oh man. Oh, it's blasting up. It's blasting up. Okay. I don't expect this to hold, truthfully. Like stuff like this, no. I really don't expect this to hold. So I didn't even have these labeled. We were labeling that earlier in the stream, just to talk about different points. We were assessing, what is going on. But like I said, not short on Bitcoin. Because it's super, super uncertain right now. Need to see like way more. All we have is a 1 hour break of structure. It's generally all we have. New York wants to be bullish today. So there's this range. It's just not super clear. I wish it was a little bit more clear. Also, yeah, we don't really have that volume confluence in this range that we want to see because there's such high volume, like we talked about in this area. So we're getting the move into supply. I'm trying to picture like future range creations, how this pivot could like potentially be going down, and I'm still like super unsure. Just because like trying to trade the reversion of the trend is definitely harder, and you want to see like something that really gives you confidence to trade that reversion. I think that's kind of something we picked up in futures though. Hey, ATV, like you're trying to trade some reversions sometimes when NQ is just an absolute bull freight train, like it's just not going to go too well. But Bitcoin is
learned some good lessons about that the last month when this raging bull market, stock market.
Raging bull market. Let me check the chat. I haven't looked in a minute.
That's why like Raphael's play was so automatic. It's like, I think that has 100% win rate in the current environment. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it does too, bro. I absolutely think it does. Imagine how many new traders just sat behind their desks at 9:30 and just like pressed buy because they do it every day. and it just works and they're printing, but they don't even know that they just traded one of the cleanest Wyckoff Model 1 accumulations that we've seen on the chart in a minute. Bitcoin, you're an interesting guy. I don't really know what to say because USDT was the more clear chart. But again, like we're seeing test failure. Like we test so sure, this is accumulation. I have it flipped into a distribution, is what it is. So this is the spring of our model. So what I'm seeing. CJ, there is a big sell limit order on Bitcoin. It is around 100 or 81.3K. So they're trying to short 2,300 Bitcoin. So their price disrespected that Bitcoin will see. So if the price disrespected that, Bitcoin will see a God candle. And also, if we start seeing signs of weakness there, I will short it. Okay, that's around the 81.3. Yo, gotta have my order flow, guys, cooking.
Dude, I've never looked at this chart, but Mr. Merlin's calling it out evol. So it's like evol, but for Ethereum, and it is. Yeah, it's coming into a crazy level as well. I've never actually looked at this chart. Good shout out.
Great shout out. Evol. Let's look at ETH because I think ETH is a super interesting chart. And obviously I posted about that I wanted that Model 1. I think on last stream I covered my more macro thoughts on ETH, but move that. That was not a real position. Sorry guys, I'm color coding phases on my ETH chart. Maybe we'll pull up a different one. I just want to give it a quick look. It still looks really good structurally. Like if we did in fact have a minor UTAD, study the minor UTAD, guys. It can also be replaced with LPSY. But sometimes it's nice to label minor UTAD and then you get a test and then you get LPSY. So it actually shows less strength. It's actually more bearish. But yeah, we do have these highs stacked. You know what? I got to get rid of this chart. I got to get rid of this. Let's go to Binance. Damn, we also have the position on Binance. But no, we're not in that. It's just a very interesting chart where if it did work, I would understand. And then, you know, we just saw flush to the downside because this liquidity, obviously, like these shorts we know will most likely go into longs probably around that October, November. I would like to see the bottoms get put in. So yeah, it's just a tougher trading environment. Obviously, it's actually harder. I need my TA. It's actually like I would love to see this POI. It could be too obvious. You know, it could be too obvious. You have the swing POC backing the supply. And now we're getting extended for a UTAD, though it could happen. Though it could happen, I see it as less likely, though. Nah, this would still look totally fine if we got it. The market would just have to be very bullish because ETH has not necessarily been doing much. Like we've had lots of coins expanding, lots of coins having accumulations, and ETH has kind of just been really chilling. So I think it was potentially setting up this model. Seeing a potential accumulation right here, actually. And unless the... Sorry, guys. I got to get rid of these phases. It's just not okay. This is for some education. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay. So, ETH. Have our range, obviously. Interesting automatic rally back up. Can definitely check out some sort of accumulation here, but it's like an accumulation in premium when we are potentially distributing. Just got to plug in my laptop here. Otherwise, guys, I'm unsure about my tech sometimes. I have a MacBook Pro, but it just doesn't seem to get the job done, especially when you're streaming. You are having multiple trading view tabs open. You're potentially in another stream privately. Just does not get the job done. If anyone has any recommendations, I think I would still like to get a laptop. I have this beautiful Alienware monitor, and maybe I would like to get like an Alienware laptop stack going. I saw a guy at a coffee shop one time bust out this like crazy Alienware laptop, and I was like, who is this guy? And it was like pretty big. It wouldn't even fit in my current backpack, but he pulls up gold. And so he was also charting. I just thought it was hilarious. Um, uh, that's a side note. That's a side note. But we potentially do have an accumulation going on here on ETH. ATV, if you had to guess, is an explosive move coming up or down? Like if you had to guess.
Did you look at Evol or no?
We can though.
Dude, I don't know. It like with the volatility charts, like it could be like both ways, you know. It doesn't have to be a distinct direction necessarily. It just means like volatility. But yeah, often it is in one direction. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's a don't predict, react scenario. Just wait to see what the charts are saying. It's just the market's in an interesting spot.
for sure it is, and we're coming back in at a time where it's like we have some time, I think, to assess, because this candle right here, I feel like, is invalidating a lot of stuff for Bitcoin to the downside right now, and kind of makes me want to long ADA. We already went over ADA. Let me know in the chat, guys, if you guys are watching any altcoins, bullish or bearish. Let me know, and we'll chart them with some fresh eyes. Trader Chubb says, custom PC built in COVID, top of the line, still runs like brand new, performance machine, but not portable. Yeah, cooling pad for sure. I remember you said that to me once. The cooling pad, that could be key for me, because my laptop's always sounding like a SpaceX rocket. You know, it's trying its best, you know, but it struggles out here sometimes. Dowsy, maybe give me an update what you're thinking on Bitcoin. I know you were giving me some order flow data, and what do you think about that very aggressive Bitcoin candle though? Is that because I know we were talking, and you were like, well, we need to see some aggressive like selling, and we're kind of seeing the opposite of that. New York being very bullish today. Let's take a look at some longs, guys. No one's giving me any altcoins, so I'm going to take the reins. Couple altcoins that I'm watching. Pump Fun. I had a slight starter in this, tried to rim see this, got absolutely wrecked. It was very low size though, because I do not trade Pump Fun. And I don't trade lots of these coins. Like I didn't even trade Tau. Although I did, but I didn't at the same time. Like if Pump Fun did something like this, like I would understand. I would understand. Is it going to give me an entry? That I don't know. This whole area is demand, but ETH. Merlin, are you looking for a long on ETH? What do you think? Pump Fun. This is one that I'm watching. We'll have to see something. Let me just check the market structure. I need to see something more. I need to see like a new, very good demand creation. So I need to see this get broken. This get broken aggressively. However it does it, leaving an aggressive, like a good demand POI that the POC now backs. And then I can maybe try this long on Pump Fun if we're going to continue to go up on Bitcoin. And, you know, it's very subjective. Okay, so you are looking for that long on ETH. So you want to long it up to potentially put in a UTAD. Like that is my absolute favorite scenario. So let's see. How's Tau doing? Beauty. Great trade. Great trade. This was just such a cool trade. It was almost like looking too good that I thought it was like would almost fail because it's Tau, but market makers absolutely delivered. For shorts, I'm watching Solana, Shib, FC, Pepe, and Doge. That's a good list, bro. That's a good list. I'm watching, my favorite out of those is LTC and Solana. Shib is interesting. It's just not really a pair I trade. Jay Sean, sup CJ. What's up, brother? For longs, I didn't find much. Would just trade BTC local accumulation or maybe hype. Yeah. Yeah, so I like that hype. I don't want to go against my compound friends. I know that they're short on hype, and I thought it was a very good idea. I thought it was a very good idea, and it's something that should be taken. But when you're seeing this aggressive of a buyback, it tells me something's off. Something's off here, guys. There has to be another plan for hype, I think. Unless they're just trying to scare people like so hard and they're going to aggressively reverse it, but like I don't see Bitcoin aggressively reversing from here, truthfully. So I know hype likes to front run the market. We might have to like adjust our POIs because we're getting so bullish. Like this is this is a pattern in the market that is very hard to trade, the V-shaped reversal. But that's exactly what we're getting on hype. Do I think we're going to come all the way down to this POI? Not really, guys. But would I love that to be the case? Absolutely. It could even be, I know the money tar hidden liquidity guys are getting excited already, like I know they're getting excited already for something in here because, this can be really nice. And we've seen hype use hidden liquidity in the past. ATV, what's your take on hidden liquidity? I know we have an interesting relationship with it. How are you viewing it in the crypto market? How do you want to use it in your analysis?
Yeah, I think it's very noteworthy to have on. I'm never gonna be taking trades like a money target would. I still want to see potentially a local model, but if you get a local model in a hidden liquidity POI and also overlapping with those LVNs, I think that those are it's just what we were saying at the beginning of the stream. I just want to take trades in POIs that are very probable to get a good reaction, and I think that they're great things to look for.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. I think where I got into trouble with them was actually just taking the money chart entries without studying enough, or like my curse, taking other people's trades. Guys, I have about a 0% win rate when I take a trade that another trader has told me about. Don't ask me why it's the case. I wish it wasn't true. I am actually cursed with that. Nah, no curses, no omens. They're not real. Yo, I'm seeing Koss in the chat. Wow, brother. It's great to see you out here. Hopefully you're doing well, bro. We should catch up soon. See Heart, bro.
Hope you're doing good.
Mm-hmm. Dude, the owl. Oh man. That is just a great emoji. Amazing. What do you think for hype, ATV? Do you think we can see a pullback? Or are we gonna just absolutely bowl right through here?
That's an aggressive pump for sure.
That's so aggressive.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to pop off pretty soon here, but I would love you to look at Ondo quick, just for my final chart for you to look at.
Oh my. Ondo.
I just want to dissect this with you. So it's just one more example of kind of what I'm talking about.
Give me scary, Ondo. What I mean by that, guys, is I had a friend who was he was just like a crypto investor, and he was holding Ondo, and he's asking me about all this stuff, and I was just like, is it time to buy more? buy more things, and I was like, no, I don't think so necessarily. And then Ondo just, and I think he might have even sold some, and then Ondo just pumps like 85%. He just texted me, he's like, bro, Ondo, and I was like, fuck, I can't read this chart. But ATV, cook on this.
Okay, bro. I think you already know what I'm gonna say, but volume
Yep.
profile pulled from that wick low.
I have one pulled of the whole chart too, which is pretty interesting. I don't know if you can see the stream. It's super interesting if you pull a volume profile from the whole chart, its existence.
It is super interesting.
Oh, it's the exact same where you're pulling. It's the same POC.
So make sure you're not extending right just for what I want to show you, and you put it just to the local low that it put in overnight.
Oh, whoa. Are you looking super locally? I'm very high time frame.
So that, like that big liquidation, yeah, right there.
Here?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pull it from there. Okay, that's what I was having.
So you see that, yeah, that LVN pocket.
Let's get more into it here. So this pocket right here, I assume you're talking about.
Well, yeah, first of all, so you see where the chart gets a heavy rejection is the value area high.
Right
so
here.
That's the first thing that I wanted to look at. Obviously, it did sweep some liquidity and stuff there, but I think just the more confluences you can stack. Yeah. So heavy rejection from there. And then where we bounced overnight is perfectly in that pocket. And then if you get on some lower time frames, it's also demand. And it also did kind of get a little bit of a local model. And this is examples where, like, if I didn't have the context of that LVN and the demand POI, I would think that this doesn't really look like a good model. But I'm starting to change my beliefs a little bit about that. Like, if I'm seeing a cumulative behavior in these really good POIs from volume, it's going to be a Wyckoff model that I might have a little more discretion on.
Mm-hmm.
And I would actually maybe take it.
How do you think you would feel when you put like a model like this in your journal that looks a bit interesting, but then it plays out and you're like, but the whole model was the context that I built? I think it would feel pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
You see, like without any context, you're probably looking and you're like, okay, we got fat supply at
right here,
range high of the model. But like, not all demand and supply is real, as like this didn't even get a slight fucking reaction.
Not all demand and supply is real. That is, quote that. That's facts. It's all about deciding which is real and what is fake. Dude, there was even a hidden liquidity trade. Were the money tar boys out for this?
Discretion with some of the models if they're in like these really nice spots.
Yeah, 100%. Look at this. Look at where we put in like that LPS. That's crazy. I like that. Look at that, ATV. Look at that. Wow. Is Ondo just a crazy... I almost guarantee you some money target I just printed on this. Look at that. Direct hit of the 618. Can't make that shit up,
that's
guys.
Crazy.
That's cool. You can't make that shit up. That's an algorithm reacting right there. Wow. Is Ondo a chart to be adding to our list as like a good pair? Because I've never had success with Ondo. I also think I was trying to force models on it though. But I don't know. You know, this was a long time ago, guys, when I was last trading Ondo. Very cool. Maybe we'll move Ondo up the list. That's a very interesting trade right here. Even if we're...
Yeah, like without the context, you might be like, oh, that's a trade I'll never really take. Once you add some layers to it, it's like,
So here's actually an example of how I want to use hidden liquidity. I want to use it only in confluence with Wyckoff models and only when my invalidation invalidates my Wyckoff model. So a money tar guy would potentially, play this like so tight. I don't know exactly if they would do that, but like I have seen some guys doing some stuff like that. And the RRs are super high. Whatever. I'm not a high RR addict right now. So potentially when we're seeing a POI this clean for hidden liquidity, because yes, this is all demand as well, most likely. Let's see. It's not traditional order block. No, it probably will be structure demand. So it's also structure demand right here, range demand, whatever you want to call it. And then you got that hidden liquidity POI backed by the 618 perfectly in there, and you have the Wyckoff model and you have your context. I think this is a trade that I would like to take just with like a limit order or just to see the reaction. You also had a local model coming right into it, right? So, whoa, wrong tool. You also had a local model coming right into it, which
Yeah,
is
like that
super
supply was
clean.
fake. And if you pull a profile
Yeah.
from like the swing high, I think that's what I'll start to do when I'm assessing if supply or demand is fake or real.
So what are you seeing with that supply demand being fake or real for this profile?
Just waiting for your screen to catch up. It's a little bit.
Pull it on yours.
Just send it to.
Not even, just like pull it on yours and talk about it. Pull it from swing high and tell me what you're seeing. Are you seeing that there's not really a point backing that supply? Are you seeing that there's kind of an LVN in that supply range? Like the volume dips down kind of in that area? What are you kind of seeing?
Yeah, I'm just seeing like nothing on the profile that I would be that scared to have to battle against. Like that's kind of what I'm always thinking. Like if I'm long on this, do I want to take the chance of going through this POI? In that scenario, there's nothing there that I'd be scared of. Like it's just like a nice distribution of volume. And study where we just wicked there, like perfectly in that LVN pocket.
Mm-hmm. So that LVN that we just wicked is actually higher volume than the LVN that is potentially backing this supply. How do you distinguish between the two?
Like you're saying at the very top
Of the Wyckoff range. Although you can be saying it's not really there on the lower time frames. Like that is also true. Like it's not really there until you go to the 45-minute and the model like doesn't look that good. Although like POIs like that can give reactions, but if you're looking at like pretty much any other time frame besides the 45-minute, you're seeing no supply there really.
yeah. I'm just like really dissecting the actual profile. So like the peaks and valleys of it. So the lower section is all like there is a couple little peaks and valleys, but it's all like kind of the same. But then where it
Sure.
wicks there, it's like a little bit more aggressive peaks and valleys. So that's kind of
Interesting.
how I look at it. Like you got to look at like the whole section you're in. So yeah.
Interesting. So how do you determine if price is going to slice an LVN or get a reaction from it? Do you have any things that you have been seeing?
Yeah, I think like there's always auctions within the auction. So like at the end of the day, right now we're zoomed the fuck in on this chart, like looking at a very small auction, but then we zoom back out to that swing POC and now we have that huge auction. And we came into that LVN pocket on the high time frame. So I think you can just kind of build context that way. Like you don't want to get too caught up on low time frames unless you're scalper.
Yeah, that's fair point. That's a fair point. But yeah, this Ondo model was pretty interesting. Let's see what it looks like as a distro. Looks even a bit better as a distro to my eyes. But sometimes that's the case, right? But sometimes, man, what makes the model is this minor structure, as they call it, local models, in really good POIs like this hidden liquidity POI, and we are just whatever you call it. I don't even have a good indicator going. I might have to to call a guy and get an indicator going for hidden liquidity again. But wow, such an interesting trade. Such an interesting trade. I wonder if there's something like, what's the next trade brewing? Maybe I'll even check like some crazy pairs here while we're on the crypto wave. Shout out to Aave back in the day. I think this coin actually died. Might be in some crazy accumulation, but it's just super ugly. Super, super ugly. ATV, remember some good times with Aave?
Yeah.
We've had some good times with Aave. So H-bar, it's not one that I included in that accumulation gallery, but it's also one that can be having an accumulation right here. It's just harder to see, guys. It's just harder to see sometimes these more dynamic structures in the market. And I normally like just wouldn't even pull these, truthfully. But now that we're seeing it develop, could definitely be. I'm gonna set an alert here. I want to see it. I don't want to trade it, but I want to see it if it plays. What about Dash? What's Dash been doing? Last trade, I actually made money on that trade. I thought I messed up. I actually did, though. Kind of broke my rules and closed it early. I was just so capitulated from the market, but it ended up being the right call because it ended up failing. Dash had a weirder accumulation here, pushed price up. How do you think we can find the balance of like really dissecting altcoins, but like not having too many? Do we have to just kind of find our favorites and just kind of like really get the POIs that we want on the chart for them and kind of disregard some of the others? What do you think, ADV?
Yeah, I think just you got to be an alert wet.
Yeah. Gotta be. So what do you think we can like give the people as like a stack when they pull up an altcoin? So let's have some fun. Let's just pull up an altcoin. Let's do something with some aura. Man, give me something crazy. Let's do Brett. So say you're just pulling up Brett here, and this is a really bad example. Should we even do Brett? Nah, this is the old version of myself, guys. Let's do virtual. So this is a pre-plan that I have for virtual that's extremely bullish. I'm also not in this. But it is a pre-plan that I do have. So say we're pulling up an altcoin. What is kind of the stack that you want to go into to build context? Virtual is not a good example either. Let's just do it on XRP. So market structure on the high time frame, honestly still bullish for XRP because you just have a SFP here. Still bullish. And then from the low, it's really hard with these wicks because, technically this is the market structure high, but let's not do that. So we'll do market structure, and then do you start pulling your volume profiles from swing points? Like obviously the wick is probably pretty good place to start. Volume profiles from swing points, volume profiles from any local ranges. So say if you're looking at XRP here, what do you think about like these areas of extremely low volume? It is interesting that is an area that we did reject from to put in the range high. But like, what do you do with like there's obviously a lot of volume right here on XRP. But then you have like this very like low volume section. Is that because we just came through it pretty aggressively? Or what's your read on that a little bit?
Sorry, bro. I just I lost the image of the stream. Let's see.
Just go to XRP, pull a volume profile from that liquid.
Those ones are interesting because it can also just rip right through it too, you know?
And that's, yeah, I mean, it's probably like that because we did come through that pretty aggressively when we came down here. XRP is an interesting chart. Do you guys want to see what I believe to be the accumulation? So we've been talking about some interesting plays. And I think if I would have been viewing XRP like this, I would have been able to trade it a lot better. So we'll see if this fits your guys' eye or not. But we came up here and, you know, we had heavy volume, but as we come up here, we have the highest volume being this area right here, and it represents a buying climax. So we got that buying climax right here, and then we got a range. So we got a range, and I'll pull it all the way now, but so we had a range, and then we deviate the buying climax, highest volume, with an up thrust. So it ends up being a two-tap model, and we do know through some backtesting that XRP does like to give some two taps, some interesting distributions. It's not clear. Would never trade it. Don't think it was meant to be traded even. I think it was meant to be to set up the next play. And so look at the time displacement a little bit. It's pretty interesting. So then if you started your range from here, this is a bit theory, guys, right? But this is actually like you see so many stocks, and you know what? We'll go right into a stock play of this exact range that I'm watching on Palantir. So here is your model now. Has a bit of a different aura to it now instead of just using this fast move down and then getting a super extended LPS. But instead having a spring and then a closed test, like we do like to see, successful test, moves back up, and then I forget exactly, you just swept extreme liquidity. So then you came back with an LPS, sweeping extreme liquidity. But, you know, I think it could have been so much easier to get into this position for myself if I'd have been looking at it here. There was like a very low time frame break that you could have taken, but then I would have just put my stop underneath the test, and I would have targeted this high for a 5.7. ATV, I'm really curious your thoughts on this, because like if this was a stock, this would be automatic. I think we just view crypto sometimes a little bit differently, but so what this would look like, guys, and how we could label it is you have a buying climax on high volume, which is basically the super aggressive expansion. Gets, you know, you get that first reaction on super high volume. So buying climax, and then you have an up thrust, right? That then becomes a two-tab model, or however you want to look at that, becomes the AR of the accumulation. So UT/AR. Then you get a secondary test in phase B, and phase B is the cause phase. So you're building the cause. That's why we build our return to zones in phase B, is because that is the cause. That is the liquidity being built to be taken in the later phases. So then this distribution that makes this the selling climax, right? So put that on there. And then this is like a perfect spring. It's like a perfect spring. It's on higher volume, but as we can see, our buying climax, so since we were switching it over, right, the buying climax is the highest because it's a reaccumulation. You're getting like the perfect volume that we want to see. So you don't start it here. You actually start from the buying climax, because that's when it stops. You know, that's halting price, and then they're flipping it over into an accumulation to continue the trend, but they need like a consolidation period. Can't go up forever. I just think I would have been able to trade this a lot easier, especially knowing that this is the end validation of the model, instead of like looking at this range, that this is the range high, and then, you know, it's like a super extended LPS, which an extended LPS after a spring test would just like look a bit better to my eyes, or just my brain would like it more. So I'm really curious your guys' thoughts, and then obviously somehow get yourself in a position where your stop loss is covering the test, because that's the invalidation of the model. Um, yeah, it's super nice how buying climax and then the next highest volume is the STB and then the spring. Sometimes these are inverted because you have a different type of spring, but this is just a minor deviation, uh, minor penetration, if you will, MP spring, which then rotates price back up.
Brother, sorry to cut you off. I just have to hop on a call here, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna head off. But pleasure as always, and yeah, good cook. Peace out, chat. Talk to you all later today.
Yeah. Great stream, bro. Thanks for coming on, and yeah, we'll talk later today.
Okay, peace.
Peace, dog. So, guys, let me know in the chat what you think about this. I believe this to be the true Wyckoff model that marked the reaccumulation at all-time high for XRP. Super curious your guys' thoughts. I think it would have, if I had been looking at the structure like this, I would have been able to trade it a lot easier. Can you look at XDC? You guys want me to chart the shittiest of shit coins. We can do it because I am familiar with that chart. Let's just get a new tab going here. Let me see the stream. I want to, how are we looking? Hopefully it's not lagging behind too hard. Oh, I haven't even looked at the chat. Yo, Chubbs is the GOAT though. Indices are just ripping. Oh, it's a generational bull right now. Raphael, the whole point is the inefficiency where we had the wick. The supply would be stronger if it had inefficiency in it, like the inefficiency where the wick was formed local top. For sure. I have a big spot bag of this fucking coin. Shake my head. Were you talking about Ondo? What were you talking about? I can't remember. Dagger. Later, fam. Well, maybe you were talking ATV. We will be wrapping up pretty shortly. We've been going hour 40. Which coin are you talking about, Chubbs? Let me know. What were we pulling up here? Oh, I was gonna chart XDC for a brother who was wanting it. It's even in my setups. Oh, it's up 11%, guys. Okay, I don't even want to chart this. There's nothing to chart on here. You have to already be positioned. Yeah, there's nothing to chart here. It was pretty obvious to just get in on this demand. It's pretty interesting. It's just such a low volume coin for me that, you know, it's pretty tough to trade this. Accumulation is here. It's funny. I already have it charted. XRP, I also have Ondo. Oh, got you. Yeah. I mean, I've actually charted this a while back thinking about it, but now that I've been, you know, way more. Oh, and I didn't even put like, you know, we had this demand right here. Like, it's just funny to look back at some of these ranges that have happened and just kind of see them in a different light, because I absolutely do not believe that we had some extended Model 2 in this area. I truly don't. I believe this is the model we had. It's a reaccumulation after getting aggressive expansion, and that's exactly what you want. And you know, you wouldn't have been psyoped into maybe taking too much profits here. This was always engineered to be taken because it's actually the range high of the model. Doesn't it just look better? Like, doesn't it just look like this is actually what the market makers crafted? Like, when I look at it, you know, this, like, it looks like, you know, if I was the market maker, like, this is how I'd craft it. Nike, sure. Yeah, I'm 100% watching stocks, and I want to give you guys a quick example. So I'll give you guys a couple of quick examples. So we got XRP here, reaccumulation model, blast to higher. Like, man, this was so automatic in hindsight, with the knowledge of now. So what I'm watching, Palantir, guys, Palantir. I don't know what. Something happened here. This is the RTH chart. Can someone help me out with this? Because you used to be able to adjust for the RTH chart and to make it not. Did that change it? No. Something happened here with the stock charts. Maybe I need to just a refresh. Something happened with the stock charts because you need to change them not from RTH, which is regular trading hours, to normal. And I'm not getting that. Like, is that glitched, guys? Because there's a wick up to here, you know, that it's way more filled in, all the candles. Yeah, the distro into accumulation range pulls. Honestly, brother, it stems from watching TradFi more. But yo, TradingView, what's going on here? Genuinely, what is going on here? I need to not be on regular trading hours. I need to be on the full. It's normally right here where you just switch it. It's normally right here. Whoa. It's not even on NQ anymore. What's going on here? Adjust for contract changes. Set. Yeah, I think TradingView is bugged, guys. Can you even go on the RTH chart anymore? Like, I think they might have just cooked. Yeah, they just cooked every contract. I don't know who is working at TradingView that just did that, but you should be fired. That needs to be fixed immediately. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. We'll have to work through it, guys. So Palantir, imagine that there's a wick up here. Imagine that it's not so choppy like this. They've absolutely destroyed my chart. You know what? Where's my X? This is outrageous. Not too happy about that, honestly. So Palantir, take a look at it. This is what it should look like when you're on the actual chart. And I pay for the real data on this too. It's not even really too different. So we are seeing some buyers here now. So that's the wick I'm talking about. And obviously, like, the chart looks so much better. Yeah, TradingView, that's just unacceptable, man. Never get too annoyed by some stuff, but like when you're genuinely just dismantling the chart and we need to look at it, that's just not okay. So just bear with me, guys. This is gonna be tough. You know, maybe we'll employ the use of our friend here, no gaps candles. So imagine that there's a wick up here. So you get that distribution model 2, and then you flow it over into an accumulation. So I'm watching for this. I'm really watching this close. I want to see a break of structure though, and then I'll put my stop loss underneath this POI. So let's get this out of the way. So basically looking for a setup like something like this. But we'll have to see. I could arguably, like, let me just dissect the low time frame. Oh, guys. Guys, what just happened there? Someone just heard me. Did anyone just see that? Did anyone just see that? That was not there. Guys, that was a little paranormal. Here we go. Palantir chart. Yo. Did anyone just see that? Like, we were just looking there. And it wasn't there. That's crazy. That's crazy. It changes every time from 24-hour to the 1 day. Check the 24-hour. Is that just the 1 day? Maybe I'm tripping. But then also NASDAQ wasn't as well. So I don't know. Anyways, actual Palantir chart. I don't know exactly how I want to play stocks. Like, man, if I was like really wanting to be in, I would like already start buying, I think. On this break of structure. But we'll have to see. Like, I'm not going to say that this is supply here. I don't think none of that. Well, man, Stockland is a little weird. But we're having like some sort of accumulation in this demand, and now we're moving up. I'm going to be more patient with it. Going to watch it very close. Like to see more demand get created in there. So that's basically the Palantir analysis. But so look at this. It's the same, right? It's the exact same. Crypto, stocks, doesn't matter. And now you're maybe saying, well, maybe this will fail, and you're just wrong. This is potentially, right? Right? So let's give an example of one that is absolutely played out. So a really good example of this is actually Apple from 2023. So here it is. Okay, perfect. So exact same situation where you're getting that distribution, halts price in an uptrend. So we don't want this at all-time low. It makes no sense. It can't even happen. It's a reaccumulation schematic. So we're already trending either one way or another. Exact same case. We're already trending up on XRP. Then we get the reaccumulation. Go for that high. So same thing with Apple. You get that reaccumulation after getting a distribution. It's a little bit stretched out. Yes, it wasn't really for trading. But this accumulation is, super clear. An exact same as with XRP, there's a really nice demand POI that the spring comes into. And Apple's been moving up ever since. Ever since this accumulation right here. It's just been, so if you traded that accumulation or back in 2023, your position has been protected. Jump across the creek, retest the creek with an accumulation, barely makes it over, minor signs of strength, pull back, take out that accumulation, make a 2-tap model, then blast it higher. Distribution, mitigation, continuation. That's basically been the Apple chart. Might have had a distribution. Had that 3-week, that's even a monthly break structure. Don't fade monthly break structures. Monthly break structure. Yeah, what the actual fuck is going on here? Okay. So maybe it was because I was on too high of a time frame. That could have been the case. Maybe it was potentially not a trading view error. It's potentially personal error. You had a pretty interesting distribution right here. It's not the cleanest. Absolutely not. Very hard to see. Very hard to see. I don't even know. Doesn't matter. You had a monthly break of structure. Now what's happening? Gonna just keep the no gaps on. So trending down. Structure low. It's your 5-day. We in any nice POIs? I'm a little bit more abstract with my stock POIs. This is a really nice one though. Actually has that inefficiency. And obviously this whole area is decent range, but good amount of liquidity there. I don't know. What are you guys liking about Nike? It's like this thing is a falling freight train. I wouldn't really want to get in front of this unless you want to continue shorting it to zero. Not zero. But at least come to these demand POIs. Remember that none of this stuff is, on sale. Just because the stock is down, it could potentially go way lower. Lost that POC. Yeah, I think Nike is just such a bearish chart. Needs so much more time, so I wouldn't be looking at it. LTF into overlapping demand. I don't really have a spot to trade LTF stocks. Like Nike, for example. I have a spot to trade stock like Palantir, but not necessarily Nike. Actually, it would be interesting to see how these LTFs play out on stocks, like how the day trading of a stock is actually going down. LTF. Just this. I kind of like this. We can watch this. Always looking at stocks from like a more so an investing, so higher time frame perspective. But I wonder how like the day trading aspect of this is. This is interesting. POC is backing that demand. Sure, yearly VWAP also backing that demand. Oh, sorry, supply, guys. Supply. Not sure. We'd have to see more. We're still on the, I guess, decently mid time frame for what I'm normally used to looking at. LTF. That's crazy. But this does feel like the LTFs for stocks. I do agree. But I don't know. I don't really have a place to trade Nike with leverage, which is the only way I'd really want to do it, because let's even say we got an entry right here. It's not worth it from a spot perspective. What other stocks am I watching, guys? You may be asking yourself. Well, I did not short this. We did not get any confirmations to short BlackRock. But I was watching an interesting play on BlackRock that I think can still play out. So LPSY2, question mark, no shot. BlackRock is still bullish. If this POI gets rejection, I'll actually be surprised. But pretty interesting model here on BlackRock. Do I think this is going to play out? I actually have just genuinely no idea. I have no experience with a stock like this. Like, is this a accumulation right here? You know, having like just actually highs and then an accumulation? I don't know. It's just something that I'm watching because, you know, BlackRock potentially has a bit of aura. Just because of how big it is. So how's MQ doing? So I did actually start taking a position on this coin. It's not a coin, but on the stock right here for this breaker structure, but it looks like we're going to get a Model 1. So if we do that, I would potentially just add to this if possible. It actually had bullish earnings come out like right here, and then they just dumped it. So potentially they're not done accumulating, and we want to take this low once more. Let's see how the volume has been progressing. Okay, we're right at that POC, but I just really don't like the price action. But it's in a really good spot that I think can accumulate. Obviously, like we're building a 1,000 day range, accumulating a stock that literally IPO'd and then nuked, leaving this buy side liquidity. So it's something, you know, I'm looking to rotate some profits into, because I like the narrative for it. It's actually pro crypto narrative too with these cards. I think they're partnered with Coinbase card, all these things. This is the tech to do that. So It's a pretty interesting stock that I'm watching. Google, very interesting distribution into accumulation. Yeah, what the actual fuck? Yeah, distribution into accumulation. Terminal spring, good example of a terminal spring. How's Home Depot doing? Still bearish. Perfection. This Home Depot play was actually like a thing of beauty, guys. But pretty interesting. Don't want to go over too many stocks. What I do want to finish on is a very, very interesting. So now we want to get into some even crazier distributions into accumulations. Let's talk about Soxel. This is semiconductors. This is, I believe, in data and potentially energy. So this schematic right here. So I've drawn it out already. Soul alert. We'll check that out in a second. But so you get that distribution, whatever it looks like, model 1, model 2. Start from the low. Deviation 1, deviation 2. Doesn't matter like how big this time duration is, truthfully, especially in TradFi. I haven't tested as much in crypto. But you could see that massive volume inefficiency. We have POC all the way down here, and then you can see how bullish this chart is. But it's just another example of a distribution that goes over into an accumulation, actually getting a terminal spring on super high volume. Couple LPSs, minor sign of strength, barely taking that high. But then you got a reaccumulation that has been pumping price with the buying power of this accumulation ever since. But let's finish back on crypto. We'll check out Sol. What is Sol doing? I really don't think there's two. Wow, we replaced Bitcoin with Tau. That's not okay. Look at Biddy. Look at Biddy just ripping through that supply. Absolutely. This is what we've been seeing out of Bitcoin for the last months. Just bullish price action that is harder to read. Honestly, like what is this? What is this price action? Not the best. We had these highs here that can be magnets, but the way that we're getting up there is tougher to trade. At least from the way we trade. Maybe there is some system that gets you in a trade here. But we got to stick to our edge. There wasn't even, yeah, it's tougher to trade. It's tougher to trade for sure. There wasn't even too nice of pullbacks to get in for this move. So sometimes you just see a move and it's not within your edge. And so it just kind of is what it is. Hype must be, yeah, wow. The shorts are not the play right now. It's XDC play. How's Adam doing? I like the Adam long better, guys. I do like the Adam long better. But all right, we've been going for 2 hours. I'm not. It's generally just neutral from myself. USDT is probably going to invalidate whatever model was going on here. And USD, like the combined dominance chart, never had this model anyways, and it actually looks almost exactly like Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is just going higher. We've literally just been trending. We can take out this SMT. But you know what? We'll finish on ETH. I want to give the ETH accumulation some time of day if it's still there. I don't think it is, though. I don't think it is still there. No. Again, a bit harder for me to trade something like this. We can be watching for a pullback, though. Again, it's a long in the premium section, extreme premium even, but we can definitely be looking for re-entry here if you are bullish. You know, I'm also good to just sit this out. We didn't even look at gold and silver. Damn, we're actually going to have to look at those. But I don't mind this model on ETH. Just the location of it, but you can have Wyckoff creating Wyckoff, so kind of is what it is. Quick test after a potential spring, but that spring doesn't really get confirmed. Neither does that test until we blast up here. So potential double test, and so set an alert for this demand, and we'll kind of see what happens, because this could develop. Sometimes you have a model that's not that clear, and then it does develop into an LPS, and then it becomes clear. We see that all the time. So pre-plan for ETH is pretty simple. It looks better than Bitcoin, where we would need to see rejection there. You know, it can also disrespect it, whatever, and then have some sort of pullback. For an LPS, view this as a double test. So what I was talking about how it doesn't have to be this is a point and this is a point. This was the POI created from the action of the test. You know, they took the low, deviated it. Selling some decently high volume. But we can't really use the volume trick because we're in a very interesting location. Highest volume being this. This was the low of the distribution. Potential PS right here. It's an interesting one. It's an ETH looking model. So it does have some aura to it. How would it look if we just got something like this? You know, not bad. It would be an interesting one. You're bullish on the market, taking a long and extreme premium, but it can be Wyckoff to create this UTAD potentially, or we're just scrapping all of these models, you know. But definitely will be watching ETH. I have an alert set. I'm also watching Atom, and I'm also watching, you know, we can put ADA back. It was just tougher to get an entry on ADA. It was tougher. I didn't know if I could trust this POI or not, but it's being respected for the time being. Still watching. I'm going to have to rim see something to get in on ADA, or we're just not going to. But can be watching ETH, can be watching Hype for the pullbacks. We went over those. Those are kind of the main ones. So ETH, Hype, ADA potentially, Atom. Nothing too clear on Atom right now. If we can come back down into any of these POIs, then I potentially like it. Need a reconfirmation though. But yeah, that should wrap up the session. A bit of a more chill session, a bit of, you know, talking about different structures, looking at some altcoins, looking at some stocks. NQ actually delivering the trade of the day, but we're not trading futures right now. But just amazing to see Wyckoff playing out in futures. We have USD CHF running. We'll see. Guys, let me know if anyone's still in the chat before we wrap up. Is anyone in this USD CHF play? I would love to know. Let me know if anyone is in this play. I like it less from a distribution here, so that's kind of good, and I'm expecting this to complete. I've not taken any partials. I did move my stop loss to here, but I'm going to move it to break even after the stream. It's getting good follow through. Maybe we'll just end on this. Let me know if anyone is in this. Yeah, have a nice day, bro. Good session, guys. Nothing really too crazy going on in the market. So we just got to be patient. We got to watch the POIs that we're watching. Jay-Shun, you have a Discord? Yes, I do, brother. It's currently private though. It's currently private. If you are seriously wanting to join, send me a private message on Discord. If you're in the TCT Discord, you can find me in there. My Discord, I believe, is just Soul CJ 888 or Soul underscore CJ 888. You know, let me look it up. Let me look it up. You know, I actually, for the most part, forgot I was webcamming this thing. What do you guys think of the webcam? Should we keep it going? Should we streamer mode enabled? I can't pull up anything on Discord because I'm streaming. Is that the case? Okay. Yeah, what do you guys think? Should we keep the webcam? Should we scrap it? What are we thinking? Yeah, got me. Yeah, send me a private message. It's interesting right now because it's such a tight knit group. It's not live. We're not expanding anytime. Like, it's really about the members. It's really about building the core right now. So, yeah, if any of you guys, if you guys are trying to be full time traders, you like the vibe that we are bringing, and you want to be a part of the community, send me a private message, and we can absolutely talk about it. Let's maybe add you as a friend first. Yeah, I'll add you back. Yeah, and we can definitely talk about it. But everything's on an interview basis right now, actually. So it is subject to that, and it's also got to ask the other members and whatnot. Just want to learn and be with the right group. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's so essential, I think, in this trading game because it is a relatively lonelier journey. Although I never really feel that much. I never really feel that way too much. Yo, what the heck? There we go. I never really feel that too much. Kind of like it sometimes, but I am fortunate to have a core group around me now. And, you know, we had ATV on the streams, like my best friend in the world. And, you know, it's a truly a pleasure to show up to these markets with him and trade every day. And then not to mention, the Solari Capital Discord's been growing. We run, you know, a ton of private lives in there. They're a lot of fun. The soundboard maybe gets used a little too much right now, but, you know, it's really fun to do it with the community. And, you know, I'm not sitting here claiming to be a guru or someone who's super far ahead in the journey. My kind of facilitation right now is just to build the upcoming next generation of Wyckoff traders, and we're all learning together. We're all expanding our edge. You know, we're all keeping each other accountable. And then I'm also bringing, you know, a different aspect of lifestyle because, you know, in a previous life, I was a professional athlete, so I'm really dialed in on these other things, taking care of the physical body, diet, but I'm also very, very into, I guess you could say, that maybe the metaphysical side of life, and I think trading kind of pulled that out of me even further because it's such a game of self mastery. That you're forced to confront all these different versions of yourself. To have the best success on the charts, and, you know, studying manifestation, studying quantum law, studying subconscious reprogramming. You know, like even on X, I try to share that a little bit. I dropped what I believe to be one of the most powerful affirmations in the known universe, to be honest. And it's not something I made up. It's from the book The Master Key System by Charles Haanel. This is like an esoteric knowledge book that is, you know, I learned about it from people who are millionaires, and even some traders I've heard talk about it on podcasts that it's changed their lives. And then when I read it, it was mind blowing. It kind of goes, I think it's like 28 chapters, or maybe 24, something like that. And you read one chapter per week, and you have like a little bit of homework to do. And things to think about that really blow your mind. And, you know, they talk about the subconscious mind and the different the different minds and how the universe is structured. And it's very fascinating stuff. But that's an affirmation that they give. I added rich though. That was my contribution to it, because, you know, especially in today's day and age, to feel the freedom to feel some of these probably target feelings feeling good. Um, I think we're in this game to get rich. It's a part of it. Obviously, money is not everything, but money does buy you freedom. And I think that's what we're going for. Part of the group, I talk about SBs, sovereign beings. The goal is to get to a spot where trading is fully supporting you. So now you're not clocking into a job, you're not taking shit from anyone really. And you have your life in your hands. Like you are the edge, you are essentially a printing press. And you can show up and extract from the markets. That's why I really do like futures as well, because it's such an arena. You can sit down and you can extract on the daily. But that's kind of what the community is centered around. It's around building a mastermind. So if you guys have read Think and Grow Rich, they talk about masterminds and how, one guy is one energy, let's say, two guys with the exact same goal and the exact same mind on the same path can equal the energy of 3 to 4 to 5 men. And I've felt that even with the group already in ATV specifically. What is the book, Jake? It is called The Master Key System by Charles Haanel. I'm not going to reveal the full book archive. There's a lot of crazy ones in there, including reality transurfing. And that one will really blow your mind when you're ready for it. I'm still digesting it, to be honest with you. When I read reality transurfing, like a lot of these books are like, hey, key, here's what to do. Here's what to do. Make sure you do this. Make sure you kind of do these things. And then you read the reality transurfing, and it's like, yeah, you better not do this. Don't do that. Type stuff that was really interesting to see in my own life. It's not warm and fuzzies, that's for sure in that one. But the book I was mainly talking about is The Master Key System by Charles Haanel. I have the revised version. It's like a red cover. I really like that one. It has both versions, but because it's an older book for sure. But the knowledge and the wisdom in it is absolutely insane. Really good, really good. But all right, guys, pretty banger stream today. I would say no live trades today, unfortunately, just kind of trades that are running. Oh, I've listened to the audiobook for RT. Hard to digest, but need to go for the book next. Yeah, bro. The first time I read it was also an audiobook because I was driving a lot at the time. And it was kind of the only way that I could get it into my mind because it's a very long book. I'm curious, Jake, if you've listened to RT, I'm curious what you thought of it for sure. Because, you start talking about pendulums and stuff. Like the market is a nasty pendulum. Always wants to siphon your energy. So I think it's up to us to be conscious about that and not to give away our energy to it at times. We literally just control what we can control. And if the market gives us a loss, that's just another data point. I think that is the way. Like Mark Douglas was on the right track, because he literally talks about detaching from the trades and having the greater view. In 20 trades, I'm profitable. It's not this one trade. But I need to join the Discord. We can discuss. Yeah, send me a private message, brother, and we can definitely talk about it. But yeah, I think Mark Douglas was on the right track, and you start to read more about the psychology. You start to read the more of the esoteric knowledge. You get Joe Dispenza, Master Key System, reality transurfing, the Kabbalion, and it all does kind of mesh together. And there's a lot of people saying relatively the same things, and you're just kind of piecing it together, and that might be a lifelong process. Where like in reality transurfing, he talks about the alternative space. It's not my favorite use of the wording, right? And he's Russian, obviously. But I like the quantum field. I like Joe Dispenza's take on it. I like quantum field. So whenever Vadim is saying alternative space, I just think quantum field. But yeah, we'll kind of just give a little taster of that to end the stream. But yeah, because ultimately the trading market is such a manifestation playground. It's such a self-mastery playground that it's actually insane. It's probably why I find myself probably why I found myself in the arena. I didn't grow up thinking that I was going to be a trader. Trading kind of found me um, in a transitional period of my life, and I've really fell in love with it. I've really fell in love with the possibilities of it. I love the idea of creating the highest version of life, whatever that looks like for you. Like, you find yourself incarnated here on earth, and it is your job to create your version of heaven on earth, I believe. So whatever that looks like for you. And I think trading is such a unique vehicle that is able to do that for you once you have mastered it. Once you've figured out yourself, once you've figured out your life. And this is the process and the journey that I'm still in. I'm figuring out how to be consistently profitable. I've been profitable, yes, but how can I be consistently now profitable? How can I not blow up? How can, all these things. And so I'm at the stage where I'm really starting to think of it more like a business too. Like, at the end of the day, like, we are the business as individual traders, and we need to run our trading like a business. So all these things I'm thinking about, but this is then your business. I guess that's why I was getting into that a bit of sovereign wealth creation. This is now your business. You're not clocking in. You're not doing any of these things. You're essentially transurfing. Like, if you've read Reality Transfer, like, trading is just an insane transurfing vehicle by those terms. But all right, guys, we'll end on there. Let me know what you guys thought of the stream, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of, if we should keep the face cam or not. But yeah, I've enjoyed our time, and I will see you guys in the next one. Probably make some videos over the weekend, and we'll be doing more live streams in the future. Hopefully some more live trading, because I know the banger streams are really when we're trading futures live, and we'll grow into that, be taking live trades on stream. There just wasn't really anything that I was liking today. But all right, guys, I will catch you in the next one.